Welcome back, traders, and happy Cinco de Mayo. I've got a chart of the week for you, a VIX update. Today is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. Now, important reminder that trading and investing can be extremely risky business. Therefore, it's your responsibility to evaluate any information, opinion, advice, or other content contained in this video. So for those of you maybe newer to trading, newer to the markets, you may not know what the VIX even is. So the VIX is the CBOE Volatility Index. And volatility is a dispersion of returns. Essentially, the higher the volatility, the higher the risk. Now, the VIX itself is based on price inputs of S&P 500 futures index options. So when the VIX is rising and volatility is increasing, there's a general expectation that the markets will turn lower because the VIX is known as the fear gauge or fear index, measuring how much fear is currently in the market. The VIX can be traded directly via options and ETFs, but a lot of traders use it to guide their decisions in other markets. So let's take a look at where the VIX is right now. All right, so I shared an update on the VIX with the Hima Reddy tribe about a month ago, mid-April. And when I did, it was one day, just one day, before I had key timing in this market. Now, key timing comes from my forecasting approaches, which I detail in the loss forecasting trading system. There's a price component to a forecast as well as a time component. The time came in for April 14th, and you can see that was pretty darn useful, right? We had a low right on the spot, right on the dot on April 14th on the VIX. Now, a low on the VIX coincided with a market high. And the various broad markets, S&P, NASDAQ, have all been functioning differently off that mid-April peak in their markets associated with this VIX low. So over the past couple weeks, I've been monitoring the VIX. And finally, yesterday, it got to a key level that you can see here, 2168. Students in my 4 zones RSI coverage system, you'll know exactly how I derived that one because it ties right into my Jedi twist on price floors and ceilings that I first taught and detailed in the 4 zone system. All right, there's a really long upper shadow or tail on yesterday's candlestick. So that is also a good indication that the weakness that came in on the VIX, which should translate to strength on the underlying market. It's super important to see how price action today follows through. So we've got to see how today's candles, the May 5th candle, the Cinco de Mayo candle, forms on the VIX, all right? If it forms in a way that maintains yesterday's high, that would be a first clue that we are likely to see the VIX drop lower and the broad markets surge higher. On top of that, an extra bonus would be if the RSI power zones down below actually stay capped by the bear resistance power zone, meaning they register a lower value than what they put in yesterday, because that would create what's called an RSI peak. Again, detailed in the 4 zones RSI coverage system. All of this together would set the stage for the VIX to drop lower, but it's got some barriers on that way down, some price floors that it would need to get through. And if it did, then I would expect the broad markets to continue to move up higher accordingly. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see the price floors. I've got them all laid out. So the first one is 1784, the next one is 1667, and the third is 1538. And students who have questions on how those are derived, we can go over them in detail in the next monthly group coaching live, which is next week. So that's where we are in the VIX. It just backed off from a key resistance level. Again, resistance in the VIX is not the same as resistance in the broad markets, all right? It's kind of like the opposite, because when the VIX falls, the broad market's expected to rise. And that's what I see going on here. So I would be prepared and watch out for that action. Again, really important how our Cinco de Mayo bar closes here today. Catch you next time. You can sign up at the link to get my hot, timely, actionable updates as soon as I publish right to your inbox.